morning, beloveds. I just noticed that I can have effects provided by Facebook. So I was playing with them and I was just like, yeah, no, maybe not right now. But if you have not been outside yet, now granted it is 9 a.m., but when we got up and went for our morning exercise, which should be a run, but I'm this close. Just don't want to, I'm taking care of that knee. It was 54 degrees out there. Like, it was awesome. Love it. I love running in the 50s. So, I like the 50s and the 60s are the great temperatures to run in. So, all right. It is September 29th. It is Tuesday. I had to think about that. And our title is The Mind in Me is Also in All People. And our Bible quote is, "Be renewed in the spirit of your mind," and that is from Ephesians 4:23. So, Emerson said, "There is one mind common to all individual people, which means that the mind of all human beings is the one mind, which each uses. Therefore, the mind you use is the mind I use. It is the mind everyone uses. It is the mind of God, and because the mind of God is a complete unity, it is omnipresent. Therefore, the mind that you use and that is your mind is the God mind in you. This mind is in all people, envelops all, and is at the center of everything. This mind, which is God, permeates every atom of your being. It is the governing principle in every organ of your body. It is the principle of perfection within you. Your thought is the activity of this principle. The principle is perfect, complete, and limitless, but your thought circumscribes its action and causes the very mind of freedom to create the conditions of bondage. Your consciousness of the divine presence within you, like light, dissipates the darkness. This is your eternal and true self at the center of your being. It is the mind of God manifesting itself in you as you. This you that it manifests is not separate from itself, but is itself. Divine mind within me is perfectly free. I am not merely a shadow of this mind. I am the substance of it. I am this mind in action. I project this mind through my experience. Since the mind within me is the mind of God, and since the mind of God is God not only created everything that has ever existed, but also will create everything that is ever going to be, I have within me the ability to project new ideas, new thoughts, new inventions. Calling upon this mind for an answer to a problem, I at once know the answer because the answer to every problem already is in the mind I possess. Wow. That, and I just noticed, literally, it's the second to the last day of September, that at the very bottom of the page, it says September, expectancy. So if I'd ever forgotten what the theme was, right there at the bottom of the page. I feel kind of silly. I'm 3/4 of the way through the book before I noticed that. Okay. Well, I just learn new things about this book all the time. All right. So, the mind in me is also in all people. I did the Sunday service last Sunday, and my title was, "What if there's no them?" And that's one of the things that I kept noticing is that in the September being the month of expectancy, that's a point he kept hammering home. He kept saying, there is no them. There is only one. There is no them. The same mind that you use is the same mind that I use, the same mind that everybody uses. We're all creative out of the divine stuff. So we are this incredible multiplicity of individualities from the same source. And that's his title today. The mind in me is also in all people. It's like we need to it's not even about letting our differences go. It really is about looking each other in the eye and seeing what we have in common and then celebrating our differences. You know, it's like we have, on average, you know, one head, 4 limbs, you know, 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth. The external may be different, but it's surface differences. And then we let culture and religion and skin color and all of that divide us when we all came from the same source. So, yeah. All right. He starts with Emerson. I'm learning to love Emerson. I'm working on it. Emerson said there's one mind common to all individual people, which means that the mind of all human beings is the one mind, which each uses. Meaning we all have access to the same information. We all have access to the same God. We all have access to the same spirit. We may use different terms to refer to that, but it's all one mind, one spirit, one life, one love. And then we're these amazing different expressions that make up this beautiful, vibrant quilt of life. Therefore, the mind you use is the mind I use. It is the mind everyone uses. And Ernest really hammers that point home. It's a lot of his writings are going, hey, we all have the same mind. And that's the good news. We all have the same mind, which means that we all have access to the solutions. If we are willing to do our work, become conscious, and to listen. And that is that's where the work is, listening. It is the mind of God, and because the mind of God is a complete unity, it is omnipresent. Meaning everywhere present everywhere. Therefore, the mind that you use, and that is your mind, is the God mind in you. This mind is in all people, envelops all, and is at the center of everything. So there is nowhere that God is not. There is nowhere that mind is not. There is nowhere. There's nothing outside the circle. If you look at science of mind, we have the circle V. There's nothing outside of the circle. I mean, technically the circle doesn't exist, but you know what I mean. And that's the reason why God cannot judge, because there's nothing outside. God can't step outside the circle and look in the circle and judge. So it's like, nope. We have the illusion of separation, but God does not. There is no separation in God. The mind, which is God, permeates every atom of your being. And so that means that consciousness goes all the way down. Consciousness goes all the way down. So the cells of your body have the God mind in them, which means if we could stop throwing all kinds of nonsense at the cells of our body, they could do what they're supposed to be doing. We keep interfering with the environment of our body, and the cells are going, and so there's all that noise for them too. It's like we talk about our environment, how noisy our environment is, just all the information coming at you. Well, the cells have the same issue, and so we keep interfering with that, and So if we could, yeah, God mind goes all the way down. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me stop. I might get off into... It is the governing principle in every organ of your body. It is the principle of perfection within you. It is the principle of wholeness within you. Your body knows what to do. What we've got to do is stop interfering with it. We need to give our body what it needs to do its job and then get out of the way. Your thought is the activity of this principle. The principle is perfect, complete, and limitless. So the activity of your mind has the potential to be perfect, whole, complete, and limitless. But your thought circumscribes its action and causes the very mind of freedom to create conditions of bondage. Basically, the only limit that your mind has is the limits you yourself place on it. So if you think limiting thoughts, then you are limiting yourself. And if you think thoughts of freedom and creativity and wholeness, then you are freeing yourself. Your consciousness is the divine presence within you. You are God expressing God through you. You are spirit expressing spirit through you. You are life expressing life through you. How full can you make that expression? Because the only limitation is you. And then we can have the whole conversation about relationship. So it's like, never make yourself small to make somebody else feel comfortable. Be you. Yes, I got that off of Facebook. So I can't attribute that quote. I apologize. Your consciousness of the divine presence within you, like light, dissipates the darkness. So the more conscious you are of that presence within you, of that, we can call it the Christ center within you, the more conscious you are of that, the more conscious use you make of that, the more light you are bringing into this world. And the more light you bring into this world, the more darkness you have the power to dissipate. That is part of your amazing gifts, is to bring that light of that Christ consciousness through you. This is your eternal and true self at the center of your being. This is truly who you are. You truly are spirit. It is the mind of God manifesting itself in you as you. You are a divine expression. God couldn't have the experience that it is having through you without you. This you that it manifests is not separate from itself, but is itself. So it didn't create you and then turn you loose in the pasture. It created you and is still within you. Think about that for a minute. It's like God didn't create us and turn us loose in the pasture. God created us and then continues to move through us to the degree that we allow that spirit to flow through us. And if that thought doesn't make you feel powerful, I don't know what will. Divine mind within me is perfectly free. Power statement. I am stating divine mind within me is perfectly free. I am not merely a shadow of this mind. So don't think of yourself as limited. Don't think of yourself as limited. I am the substance of it. You are the substance of it. You are not merely a shadow of this mind. You have full access to this mind up to your willingness. How big is your cup of acceptance? I am this mind in action. You want to get something done? Say that. You are this mind in action. I like to say that we are the hands and feet of God. We are the hands and the feet and the eyes and the ears and the mouth and the heart of God. That's one of the things that I like to say because it's the truth. So if you want to get something done, say to yourself, and do it out loud. Go look yourself in the mirror and say, I am this mind in action. I project this mind through my experience. You project this mind through your experience. How much of this mind, capital M, are you willing to let through? Since the mind within me is the mind of God, and since the mind of God not only created everything that has ever existed, but also will create everything that is ever going to be, I have within me the ability to project new ideas, new thoughts, new inventions. What that means is when you think you're out of ideas, you're wrong. When you think you are out of ideas, what you have to do is remember that you have access to the divine mind because that is the mind you are using. What you need to do is drop your barriers. Go willingly into what Jesse likes to call that place that nothing has ever been wrong. Go willingly into that place where everything that could ever possibly exist exists, and pull those ideas out. Because you have access to it. It is your birthright. It is your birthright. Calling upon this mind for an answer to a problem. I at once know the answer because the answer to every problem already is in the mind I possess. So you know you have access to that mind. All right. So what is our mission for today? Our mission for today. I think our mission for today, should we choose to accept it, is to realize, to recognize, to rest in. I'm still working on my rice, so realize, there's another R word, that we are not merely shadows of this mind. We are the substance of this mind. So, as I said, we are the hands, the feet, the heart, the ears, the eyes, the mouth of spirit. And if we are, then we look around the room and we know that all of the people around us are too. So when you are putting yourself into the hands of someone else, trust that that is the heart of God standing in front of you. That those are the hands of God that you are putting yourself into. And that those ears are the listening ears of God. And that those are the eyes of God looking. And when you need a solution, you have a mind to go to. And so too today. The mind in me is also in all people. So open up your God eyes. Look into the God eyes of the people around you and see that mind working in them. And trust. And trust. So, yeah, I say that. Your safety is of utmost importance. And yes, everybody does have the God mind. But when I say trust the God and the God in them, and don't put yourself in unsafe situations. I can say that because we are science of mind, and we do, and we tend to attract science of mind people. But occasionally we don't, and so we trust the mind in us to recognize that yes, that is a God, that is a God being in front of us. Jesse's word is a godling, that is a godling in front of us. But their cup of acceptance may not be as big as ours. So look for the light. The more light you see shining through that person, you know that they've accepted that God consciousness. And if you don't see the light, you know it's there, but you can love them from a distance. All right? I always want to, every now and again, I get really excited and I'm like, yes, this, that, and the other thing. And then I'm like, but we are in relationship, and occasionally we do need to make sure that we do this safely. All right? So don't let me end on that. Don't let me end on that note. Let me end on the note that I always do, which is do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself today and every day, because you are worthy. You are a child. You are a beloved child of Spirit, in whom Spirit is well pleased, and the mind in you is the mind of God. The heart in you is the heart of God. So, open up your windows, get some fresh air, get some fresh perspective. Open up the windows of your soul and allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you live in heaven now. How big is your cup of acceptance of that? And relax and know that God is always with you. That Spirit is always with you. There is never a time that Spirit is not. And there is nowhere you can do and nothing that you can do that will create a separation. It's all an illusion. All right, beloveds, I'm going to move into the process of my day. I will remind you that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. Woo! That might be kind of funny if he got up at 5 a.m. for that. And I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day, beloveds.